Okay, I'm back. I had to split up the video into two different files because I don't know, because YouTube told me to. So here is the next installment after you have traced your design onto the tissue paper and you're ready to put it on the white paper. Have fun. Okay, I've got it all outlined, so I'm going to carefully just peel this up. Save the tape. You're going to use it again. This is done. Don't need that anymore. I'll just stick that in my little packet. And now you need a piece of paper that's big enough to make your circle and has a dot in the exact center. All right? We got plenty of those for you. You're going to trace this. Look, if I lay that down, look how well that looks right there. So you're going to trace this onto this paper. Now, if I just put this, so you want to line the point with the dot. If I put it on the dot and trace this line exactly on there, and look, there's nothing there. And that's because all the pencil graphite is on this side. So I have to carefully take this tape off and save it. You're going to use this tape 6 times. And flip it over so this graphite is on the bottom. Line up the dot with the point, exactly and precisely. Hold it in place with your tape so it doesn't scoot around. And then with good force and go slow, be very, very precise about this, you're going to trace exactly on this line. And when you trace on this line, what you're doing is putting more graphite on the top, but you're also pushing the bottom graphite onto your paper. Look at that. So it's actually already going to be backwards for us. Remember I said you got to flip it forward and backwards? Well, this is backwards, and all I'm doing is tracing. So let me get that going on here. Okay, so I am finished tracing. Again, carefully take the tape off, save it, because you're going to need it again. This is the fun part. Okay, you ready? There you go. Now this isn't exactly perfect, but we don't want it to be perfect. Some people will go back and trace really dark over the whole thing. No, you don't want it that dark. Keep it light, but it's perfect the way it is. Now, remember, I want it to flip back and forth. I'm going to take this point and put it on the point again. Then I'm going to make sure that this line is right next to this line. See that space? And remember, we talked about those angles. If I leave that space, it's going to be too big. So I need to slide this over and line it right up so they're snug next to each other. And line that point up right there. Now, stop. Look at your design. See right here I have an A next to a B in Beckett's name. That doesn't match. So I have to fix that somehow. So I'm going to take this with the new graphite on top, flip it over, put the point with the point, put the line with the line. There we go. And now I have an A next to an A. So now it reflects back and forth like the Kaleidoscope Design. I'm going to tape it into place, and we're going to go through this whole process again. So here's where you're going to be tracing it 6 times. I'm going slow and I'm being precise. If I do not trace on that line, say I trace out here, nothing's going to come off. I need to push that graphite onto the paper. So I have to be very precise and trace right on that line. All right? Then I'm going to take it off and I'm going to flip it again. Point with the point, line with the line. Make sure the letters match. So here I have a B matched with an A. Oops, stop, that doesn't match. Flip it over, point with the point, line with the line. Ah, B against B. Okay, put the tape down and trace again, okay? This is going to take a while. You won't get it all done today. So just take your time, trace very precisely, and before you know it, you're gonna have a full circle on this piece of paper, okay? All right, I have traced this 1, 2, 3 times. I have B against B, A against A. Before I pull the tape off each time, I like to check and make sure. So I peek underneath just to make sure I've traced everything, because it's hard to tell now. You have graphite on one side and graphite on the other side. And if you look at it carefully, you'll see, oops, I forgot to trace that B. I've got the A and I've got the W, but I forgot the B. So I need to go ahead and also trace that B very carefully, very precisely. Each time you trace this, you're putting new graphite on one side and you're pushing the old graphite from the other side onto your design, okay? And that way, it will all work out, okay? So, I'm gonna take this tape off. There we go. You can see how that line is exactly halfway when I only have 3, okay? And what's also interesting is how all these shapes are gonna come together. Look at the W in Beckett's name and how it's starting to make this star in the center of your paper. That's gonna be really fun. And when we get done, we're gonna erase these pizza lines on the side so that you get those new shapes in there, all right? So go slow, be precise, and here's the last thing. If it doesn't line up in the end, sometimes you end up with a space, then that's where you're going to just fix it a little bit. Don't panic, you don't have to start completely over, but this should be nice and clean. Now, if you trace it and you have an A against a B, you're gonna have to erase that whole pizza shape and fix it before you move on. Otherwise, you'll end up having to erase the whole thing, all right? Beckett, I'm gonna stop right here because I want you to do a little bit. You do it the best you can. Try to be as precise as you can, and you guys have fun. If you have any questions, let me know.